So I guess I'll start off with for the interview portion of the catch up, because you both got different musical experiences. You both come from different places musically, and you've obviously got a long-standing friendship. Like, how do you both individually and collectively define success? What does it mean to you as people?
Success. What do you think, Laurie? What's success to you?
Being happy with the tunes you're making, and if you can get other people to enjoy them, that's definitely success.
Yeah.
And if you've got some goals and you're reaching them, and if not, and you're trying to reach them, then you're successful.
Yeah.
Music's hard enough as it is without loads of pressure. So I think just actually writing tunes and having people interested in it.
Yeah.
Successful, Jimmy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I couldn't put it better myself, man. The Laurie's a great mouthpiece for me, really. My head's a bit fried today, so it's a good job I've got Laurie here. But yeah, no, just to I really do agree with that. I mean, for me, the biggest reward is kind of split into two. Like, I love making a song kind of in my imagination and then bringing that to life. And if it's the more accurate, the more fulfilled I feel. Then finally the payoff, if you get to perform that live and people really enjoy it and they dance to it, then that's success.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing about taking it? Because I know I've obviously seen rehearsal videos and stuff you've been doing on Facebook. How hard is it to take what your vision is for the songs, in terms of, because I know you've been playlisted quite a lot, Hutch, and, lots of success digitally and people listening to the tracks. But what's it going to be like? How hard is it to take it out live?
Well, to be honest, we've actually it's because we haven't really had as many opportunities to play as we quite would have liked, but it's because we maybe put a bit more work into a bit too much work into the product, really. We've been ready to play for ages. So we actually do. We have put, a lot of time into the live, really. It's not been a difficult transition to bring it over to live, really. And a lot of the music, it's really, if not all of it, it's designed with performance in mind, really, and stuff. So it's actually been a breeze, really, compared. I think because we've upped our skills a little bit, and obviously our chemistry from doing other projects and stuff. I've never had something translate so easily, to be honest, to live. Laurie's particularly good because, to put just as a small example, we played in York. We did a club set. Laurie played live a song that night that he'd never even heard before. He never heard the song. Nice. I didn't know he was coming. I thought I was doing it on my own. He surprised me and kind of was like, the songs that you haven't even heard, and he just smashed it. So it's like, I have this guy to do it with, so it's super easy.
I was drawing board. I didn't think I'd be back in time from my gig, but there we were, and Jim was like, don't know this tune, but look at it, we had
just said trap, trap, and he's just ready to do a trap video work.
Smashed up the decks, and I just drummed over it. I know Jimmy's style as well. I like what he writes, so it's, but playing it live is quite fun. It's quite rewarding. A lot of it is on track, so I'm not. Previously I've done everything live, live. But this is a lot more fun, so we can dance around a bit more and get a bit more talking to the crowd and stuff.
We put less pressure on ourselves than the Haxby Swango, really.
And the results a lot easier, really. It's more fun. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, no one cares if you're really doing it, every single part of it live, if it's kind of sounding not as good as it could. Really, so I think as long as there's live elements to it, we've sort of tried to blend something more like it's like a DJ MC set along with basically like a live pop act, really.
Yeah, nice, man. It's cool, man. So it's like, what's the sort of challenges again for both of you? Because again, if Laurie, because you could talk about Street Soldier, and obviously Hutch, you come from Haxby Swango. How is it different? How is the process different for both of you? Obviously, very different genres in a lot of ways, completely. But how's the process different for both of you with your other musical projects? Like, what's the input creatively, etc., and how different is it with this project to your other ones?
Well, for me, the main thing is it's all done on electric drums for me. So, you got to be a lot more sort of in time, like not no detriment to live bands and stuff, but there's a bit more freedom on the kit. You can sort of speed up and slow down. And like if you're playing DJ music, which is it's quantized music, it's it's got to be the sound. It's got to be full on. So I've got to be tighter. I'd say I've got to be very, very, with the music, but then also at the same time, a lot of it is on track, as we say, so we can have a bit more fun over the top of it. I tend to not play as like predominantly drum parts. I do like 808s over the top and other bongos and things. So really, it's easier in some ways and more difficult in others, I'd say. For Jimmy, it's
I mean, like, for me, the whole difference kind of, particularly with Haxby Swango, was obviously nothing but love to my brother Jack Beaver, the guy
B.
that was me and his thing really. So everything kind of done from the point of we would sort of make it first on instruments. Everything was sort of played through our hands to then be translated to kind of some electronical elements, which when I look back on it now, compared to how I kind of write now, it was quite restrictive for me personally. So now I have anything I can imagine now I can just do, because I don't need to worry to have somebody playing the keys part or playing stuff live. I just need Laurie to be able to do some drums on it, and me to be able to have enough breath to do the vocals that I record. And that's it. So for me, it's been like one of those things I kicked myself in a way for not doing it earlier. Yeah,
fair enough. So is Haxby Swango done now? Are you finished with that? Is that
never say never, of course, but it's we have unreleased music that's really, really slowly coming out, but we're just in different places now and stuff. Me and Jack's still one of my best friends in the whole world, loving to pieces, but you know, he's doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing. One of these days it'll come together. He's actually sent a couple of masters over from some of the stuff that me and Laurie did, the last stuff we did. He's sort of, I think, because he's seen us getting pretty active, he's getting back into it a bit more himself. So he sent me a couple of masters that were pretty cool, actually. So yeah, you never know. Maybe the next few months you might see a couple of just testimonial game songs trickling out there just for the fun of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, so you guys have been friends for a long time as well. I mean, that's also quite interesting because obviously, again, you've done different musical projects over the years, but you maintained a friendship and stuff. How has that helped what you're doing, again, the chemistry of what you're doing now, because you've obviously done stuff as Haxby Swango, you've done stuff previous years as well. How has the friendship element, you know, and how close you guys are, you know, help the musical side of what you're doing?
Oh, massively, because like, yeah, I'm quite difficult, I think. So like, Laurie's just knows me well enough to know how to, you know, we know how to get the best out of each other, I think is the way to put it, yeah. So, and obviously we're older now and stuff as well, so we've gone through a lot together, we've had a lot of stresses together going thinking, and spoke to each other in ways that we've learned from as well. So now we're at a point where, you know, we're much better at communicating, I think, as well. So for me, it's integral. I have to have him. If I wasn't doing this with Laurie, even though it's just my name on it because that's how it started, it should really be Hutchi and LCV. Like if I wasn't doing it with Laurie, I'd be doing something completely different. I'd be doing something more piano based, you know, some kind of real slow bedwettery kind of music or something. You know, I'd be doing something different. I need Laurie and me together. We can bring the party. Yeah, not so much just me.
Oh, you're too kind, James. No, Jimmy is absolutely totally driving this bad boy. I mean, this is coming from the mind of a genius as well. All I have to do is DJ it and play the drums. You know,
Laurie kills it.
Jimmy's, you know, we're a good team though. We know what to do.
Dream team, yeah.
Just keep doing it. The main thing is it's fun. Yeah, we sort of when we started this, we haven't been doing it that long in this project.
No.
We were just like, you know what, should we just have some fun?
Yeah,
you know,
that was the first and only philosophy.
It was just like, let's do some DJ sets and.
Because Laurie can play with anybody. Laurie's playing, does festivals, but Laurie's playing with a metal band where they're so popular and everything. Laurie don't have to be wasting his time with me, but Laurie likes it. So again, I'm blessed to have him as well. So it's just one of those things that like, nah, man, I couldn't do it without him. It'd be so different without him. It won't be the same thing at all.
Yeah.
It's all love, man.
That's cool, man. It's cool. Cause I mean, I've known you guys a long time as well.
Yeah, man.
Through the scene, and I mean, individually now, you know, how would you say? Because I know, I knew Hutch back in like, you know, when you were doing like prog rock stuff, you know, back in the day, long time ago. Laurie as well. I've known you for a long time, and I think like, you know, obviously one of the tightest and most well-regarded musicians in York, I would say,
he is,
for people's, you know, people in terms of reputation. So, how would you say individually? Then if we go with Laurie first and then Hutch, how would you say you've changed and developed from the beginnings of your career as a musician or your work as a musician? What have you learned about yourself from the very beginnings of your career up until this point? If we start with Laurie and then go over to Hutch.
God, I'm so old now, I can't remember when my career began. I guess like my first band when I was 9, I was in the brass bands. So from there, I guess, doing marching snare drum and stuff, getting better really. I've always liked drumming a lot, so I've tried to eke out as many different ways to utilize that in music as well. And I've always liked the electronic stuff because, you know, it's traditionally done with computers and laptops and things. So whenever I've got a chance to, you know, do something with a production, I'll always go for it. But, you know, I've always had a background in bands and stuff. I've got covers bands now and Yeah, it's going well. I'm enjoying it. I'm really excited about this project. Really like doing the live streams and everything. And we have, you know, a DJ set. We have a slightly more live set, and you know, I can push myself as much as I want. But then also, as I say, you know, I want this to be fun and really about the people watching it, listening it, and letting Jimmy shine as the front man that he is.
Oh, Laurie, yeah, he's right that we just do our own thing. But again, it's all about just making sure it's fun in it. And that regard, in terms of like from the start and stuff, so not to train you with the biopic. Yeah, I found my identity through music really, because I moved around a lot and stuff as a kid and everything. So like for me, it was either you're on your own a lot, so that's a natural thing to happen. You're either gonna be a musician or a murderer or something. I chose the former, luckily. So yeah, for me, it's just a constant process that's never over of honing my abilities, which is innately connected to who I am as a person, really. So for me, it's an obsession. It's not something that's driven by like, oh, I want to be some celebrity or something. We don't want that. We just want to perform big shows and stuff. We don't want to be on TV and chatting shit or nothing. So like for me, it's just get better, be what I want to be better. And sometimes that changes. Sometimes you see something that you didn't know could be that good, and it annoys me because I'm not that good. So I have to then try and be better. So that's me. That's how I see it.
Right. Fair enough. And like when you, because obviously, again, your individual projects before you came together for this very, very different. Were you both like, Laurie? Were you a huge? Because I guess I wouldn't know how to define, you know, street soldier, metalcore, but you know, there's loads of different influences there. You know, you're a drummer through and through. You play different styles. When you were asked to join Street Soldier and when you were asked to join this, like, do you have like a favorite? No, I'm not trying to get you to pick a favorite band, but like, do you have a favorite genre or style you like to play?
Well, I mean, Street Soldier, I'm a founding member of Street Soldier. That was me and Scott write the songs for that.
Nice, yeah.
So I mean, we just wanted a hardcore band, really. So that just happened. I love heavy music, always have. But then, you know, I like really thumping festival, EDM, and house and drum and bass, and you know. Little Old York has have its fair share of raves in the time, and I've always been at, you know, the Ira Vibes and the other ones, and I just I've been able to play with the DJs and stuff sometimes. So I don't know. I was in Haxby Swango. Yeah, still I'm in Haxby Swango. Haxby Swango still a thing. Yeah, and you know, it's one of the. There's not many bands that require like an electronic drummer, so I'm happy that I can just sort of do that. And then when Jimmy came to me with this, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. You know, it's hyperpop, mumbaton, reggaeton.
Yeah, exactly.
It's it's just an absolute complete different end of the spectrum to, you know, playing pop punk or metal or jazz or all the other weird stuff I've done. So, and you know, I love it. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a little bit more freedom, particularly for you, Hutch. I guess, you know, you mentioned earlier a lot more freedom in this project. A little bit more chance to be yourself. I don't know if that makes sense.
100%, because all I have to worry is whether I can do it. Basically. I don't need to worry about a full band of people, other musicians having to execute perfect riffs and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff's just there. Like, it's essentially, we just host and just lead up on the like, you know, semi-complete track. So it's like the freedom of performance and the freedom of creation, is vast compared to projects I've done before, because my own limited fingers and, you know, stuff learn a riff, all that's done. I just have to think of it and then work out a way to make it sound cool on different piece of machinery, and then just make I do a certain way of prepping the songs for our live performance.
Yeah, man.
Like a DJ, and then we just have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. But do you spend a lot of time talking about your influences in terms of, you know, when you're preparing, say, a live set or a song? Like, do you guys think much, like, do you think about how you want it to sound a lot, or does it flow? Do you have like, I need to sound like this, or I want it to sound like this? Like, how's the songwriting process for the both of you?
Well, I mean, so like, I don't know, I've always had a way of it. It's never really changed for me, where like, you'll just have an idea that comes before anything. So it's not like, I mean, it'll come from something subconsciously, of course, it's triggered by something, but it can be the old classic bullshit ones where you're lying in bed or thingy. Sometimes it can be just a lyric that you want to put into something. Sometimes it's more often at times it's like a melodic hook. These just appear in my head. So then it's like, I'll usually then from there, you're trying them out on different instrumentation, seeing what works on the computer. And then it's whatever rhythms I really like at the time. And I just For me, I just went through it. When I was out in Spain for a while, and really fell in love with like the reggaeton and the Mountain beats. It was very unusual compared to a lot of pop music finding. Not so unusual now, luckily.
Yeah.
So good. But at the time, and even now, you know, you won't find really someone from the north of England kind of doing reggaeton or something like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it seemed like if you know, a good pop song's a good pop song regardless of the rhythm. So let's do something different with it. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. No, that's cool. I mean, that's an interesting question. You know, a few more questions on that. You know, being from the north of England, being from York, you were always like, you know, I always respected you because you were creating a sound and certainly had a vision that wasn't typically Yorkshire, you know, in terms of the sound. Obviously, we're so, you know, Yorkshire's so famed, especially York, for producing indie bands.
Yeah.
And things like that. Like, was there an uphill struggle in terms of, you know, trying to build that sound, trying to build the reputation, you know what I mean? Because I guess it's not something that has that many outlets in York and the surrounding areas.
Yeah, it's difficult. This is why we kind of started now. We're sort of putting on our own shows now. Like we started our Planet brand, which is like we're going to just basically, this our little touring circus, but we've got our debut event May the 20th. We've got Mikey B headlining that one for us, so that's going to be really special. But generally it's quite difficult to convince people on paper if they're a local promoter or something like that, because they don't really have the terms of reference for what you kind of doing. You have to put it in front of them basically, which is, you know, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So the thing that I've actually really liked in contrast to that though is the listener is much more easily convinced. I just think the music is much less strange than other stuff that I've made. It's much more within a mind for just short, snappy, enjoyable pieces. I'm not trying to do something super thoughtful or artistic necessarily, to be honest, just dancey, powerful and energetic. And I don't write my lyrics down, for example. Like that's a new thing that's changed.
Yeah.
Partly because I'm blind, basically. So I got to the point where when I'm recording, I'm like trying to read from my phone and I can't get comfortable around the microphone. So I just stopped writing lyrics down. So I'll just do like, when I've got my song ready to record and I've got my melodies ready, I'll just think of 1 or 2 lines at a time and just record those and then go back and do that. So I'm never having to read off something. And
nice.
so it never sounds like you're reading off something either. So I've really got into the habit of doing that now.
Yeah.
It means the lyrics are very simple, or the lyrics is just kind of the first thing that comes, and so.
But I think if that makes it danceable. Like I was listening to one of your tracks the other day, and I'm just sitting there, and it's like I've done it a couple of times, and it's about dancing. What I don't want to insult you guys as musicians, but like what I'm hearing is, and hopefully this comes across appropriately. What I'm hearing is what you're trying to do is create a sound that people can dance to, that people can enjoy without having to think about it too much. Is that right? Like
100%.
It's more of a party vibe than it is song structures and stuff like that.
We're not the thinking man's band. Absolutely. It's just energy,
Well, yeah. I mean, I know you're both very intelligent musicians, and I know you both know what you're doing, of course. But I guess you're taking it less. I don't know if that's taking it less seriously. Doesn't sound right. I don't know if it sounds.
I get what you're saying. We basically taken the thematics of it less seriously.
Right.
The energy. Basically, a lot more positively. So the whole thing's just about being enjoyable. We don't want people to be depressed, or we don't have no sad songs where it's like, you know, there's bummer songs where it's like you're supposed to relate to it, and it's so and that's fine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that type of music or anything to do with that, but that's not what we're aiming for with this project. We want people to. It's all about fun. Like if my music's coming on at home, I don't want people to be sat there and thinking of the bad times, you know.
Yeah, I dig that, man. I really do. And I mean, that's, you know, last few questions, because I think it's worth asking you guys as well, like in terms of, you know, you mentioned the York scene and you mentioned what you're doing. You know, if anybody else, you know, comes into York or comes to one of your shows and they see what you're doing, but they're like, you know, I don't think this works here. I don't know whether I can do that. Obviously, they'll see Laurie drumming and see how tight it is, and they'll be like, I'm never going to be that good. Or they'll see, you know, Hutchi on the vocals bouncing around. It's like, I'm not that good a front man. Like you both are really good at what you do. So how would you inspire confidence in somebody else, somebody that was struggling to, you know, maybe saw what you were doing and they're like, this is fucking great, but I'm never going to be that good. like what would be your, respectively, individually, I'd like both of you to have a viewpoint on this. What would your, you know, advice be to anybody who's looking for that confidence, looking to develop that confidence as an artist?
Well, first thing I'd say is get out of your own way. There's absolutely nothing nothing to say that you're going to be as good as me. I mean, you can't be as good as me or worse than me, because you can't be me, because I'm me. You know, I get these same feelings as well, man. I know loads of professional drummers like infinitely better than me. But then someone said to me, yeah, but they're not you, Laurie. So anyone who was thinking, not that I really would, I think you're being very kind there. So, but I don't think, you know, I would inspire someone to give up drums. I'd hope that I'd inspire them to start playing them. Yeah. You know, that's very kind. But yeah, no, you know, it's not about us having an ego and being like, how many 17-stroke rolls can I put in a song this time? It's more just
because the answer's loads.
I can put loads in, but it's more like it's more just about the crowd and the, you know, the vibes and the tunes and you know, and you know, when you listen to them, you can't see us playing. So, but when you do see us, it's sort of join in. I'd really, I'd cringe if I was just like looking like I think I'm the shit. I want to be like, you know, relatable and fun.
We're always trying to get better.
To watch.
Yeah, fun to watch is the whole thing. And in terms of like on the inspirational side of things, it's like if in terms of somebody watching, even if they think that, which again, you know, you've been to kind of, we have worked hard together. We are good. But you know, we're a work in progress. But if we inspired someone and they was thinking, you know, how could they do it or something, I would say first and foremost, do it now. Whatever you're thinking to do, just do it now. It don't matter how old you are. If you're fucking 45, don't think, oh, they're gonna think I'm a bum doing it at this age and that. Fuck that. Yeah. Do it now. Just start now, because if they're thinking it at 45, they'll think it more when you're 50, innit? And you're never gonna do it. So fucking do it now. So that's the same thing with a musician, same for anything. Don't get in your own way, like I say, because I made so much shit songs, man. Loads of shit songs. Like we're on form at the minute. We're dancing in the gold, to be honest, at the minute. But and we have been for a while. But it wasn't always that way, my friend. You know, it takes a lot of development to become good, and you have to put up with a lot of heartache. And the thing about art, it's subjective, and people have opinions, and people who aren't necessarily sensitive to how important it is to you can say what might be a flippant comment to them, and it can really change your whole direction. It can kind of fuck with you. You just have to be ready for that. But just do it. If you want it, do it.
Yeah. No, I dig that. Man. Just quickly, because I think, again, you know, Hutch, with your, you know, the way you are on stage and you as a performer, that there is a confidence there, or certainly a perceived confidence there. Do you have? You know, what I'm going to rephrase the question. When did you find your voice? When did you find your vibe? Was that something because you've always had a strong vocal, but like as a performer, like it's almost like you're kind of in another world when you're on stage, right? So like certainly as an onlooker. So like, have you always had that confidence performer? What does it take for you to get into that headspace to perform and to just, you know, kind of lose yourself?
It's actually a really good question. But like for me, it's so complicated as well. I'll try to put it really simply. So like that's something that's always been, until the point of being on stage, very unnatural. So very nerve-wracking. Like before I'm on stage or something, there's never a moment where I'm like really in my heart of hearts, like let's fucking do this or something. That's in my head of heads, I'm like that. But then as soon as you're on there, it's like a magic or something. It's like, I don't know. It's always been like that. It's all, you have these nerves, you think, oh, right, it's going to be this, that, and other. You go on and it's like, you're just all of a sudden above the clouds. I don't know. It's always going to be like, you're always going to have that energy for it. I don't know how to describe it, man. So yeah, for me, it's, and then when you watch it back, it looks like I know what I'm doing on stage. It looks like I've got presence or something, but none of that's like something I've thought of, or like it's not a rehearsed thing. And you'll see it on some of our lives sometimes. Sometimes I won't even necessarily be doing that. There's something different about when you play into an audience. It just kicks in. I don't know, man. Boom. I know about you, Laurie.
What do I practice?
like, do you get nervous? Like, you know what I mean? Because again, like you obviously, you know, like you're a technically sound musician. Like, so people like, oh, Laurie's well tight on the drums. Like, how do you get nervous, or do you just automatically know what you're going to do?
Not really. I've never. I mean, as I say, I've been playing drums since I was about 9. So I've always been used to playing in front of crowds and that. It doesn't really. give me the nerves. I mean, as I'm getting older, I'm getting slightly more nervous. I don't know. It's not because I'm worried about what people think. I think it's more just adrenaline. But I don't generally get nervous.
Adrenaline's fucked. Yeah, adrenaline gets you weird, man. That's the thing. That's what it is. You build up adrenaline.
Obviously more nervous for a slightly more ambitious project like this, where I've got, you know, it's electronic music, and if I mess up, it's quite a lot more obvious. But no, generally I look forward to it. I'm more comfortable playing in front of bigger crowds than I am smaller crowds, weirdly.
Yeah, same here. But
then I'll still give the same massive party vibes to a small crowd that I would have.
The crowd can't tell.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is true that,
though, hope we come across as positive and good. You know,
man.
And all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't be staring at the floor when you play.
No, I mean, certain music you can. It's obviously, you know, if you're in Sonic Youth, that's fine. But obviously not when you're doing Raggaeton and stuff. It's all just bring the party, bring the house down.
Yeah, that was why I wanted to chat with you both, was because again I saw the live stuff, and obviously I was like, this just looks like a lot of fun, man. And again, the sound translates. If you're a fan of metal, if you're a fan of whatever you're a fan of, like it translates, you know, because you can just feel the beat and the vibe, which is, you know, it's awesome. You know, last couple of questions there, Eddie. You know, obviously I checked the stats and stuff, and obviously on Spotify and things, you know, there's a lot of listens there. Do you guys pay much attention? You mentioned not being asked about sort of being on, being fame or anything like that. Like, do you pay
now? I do a bit more now with it. So like obviously it's difficult being like everything, because we mix and master our own stuff. We do some of our own videos, which some of them are coming out soon. It's hard to find the hours in the day to do everything, but like, so it takes work to be a manager and to promote stuff, and like nothing just happens really. Like, it's so much out there. So but I've only come to realize that so much. I've got to shout out Keon, to be honest. Keon taught me a lot about like how to approach that kind of thing, and how to push your music towards people to get maybe like, you can catch these playlists and you can catch this kind of thing. And it's the one, my most recent song was mega successful, but that was so lucky. That was lucky. That's not me sort of cracking the formula. That's pure blind luck, where there's some guy who is like, he's like a Christian like playlist aggregator with loads of really popular playlists, just banged it on loads of his basically. So I ended up with like over 30k hits, which is really, really good. But of the 10 track that comes out, I think I've got on rap. I think in terms of the plays, hopefully I'm speaking to good people anyway. I think I can land that on a couple of cool playlists. So the plays should be pretty cool for the tape as well. I think build the name up now, so it gets a bit easier when people can look at what you've already done and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's the last question you mentioned. Obviously, you've got stuff coming out together as a band or a project, and individually. You know, what have you got coming up? What would you like to plug? What is your message for the people that have supported you and are yet to discover you?
Well, first and foremost, for the people that are yet to discover us, go check us out. Go check out the Instagram. Go check Hutchi on Spotify. You can find me everywhere. I'm on Deezer. Anywhere you can listen to music, I'm basically there. On April the 29th, Laurie and I will put out our first full-length debut. It's not an album, it's a mixtape, because it's kind of still, we had fun with some of the styles there. It's not consistent enough in terms of like a body of, paint by numbers journey to call it an album or something. So we'll hold back with our album, which we do have. This is just more like, this is what we can do. Good stylistic representation of kind of what you'll see when you come and see us perform. So a lot of fun tracks on there, a lot of hard energy tracks on there. And so April the 29th, it's going to cost £1 only to download the 10 track. I was hoping to do it for free, but it just got a little weird on Bandcamp and stuff. So I just felt like it was easier to do it for £1. So quid for 10 tracks. But yeah, that's as far as that. Obviously, we've got the video for The Reefer will come out. It's a song off that tape. That'll be out basically pretty much the same day that the tape comes out. That's just going to be the eyes to auto attention for that day, the flair for the day. And other than that, we're going to try and do a song a month after that until we do the next mixtape. So I don't know if Laurie's got any Street Soldier stuff coming out.
Nah, not for a while. We've got enough music out with Street Soldier. It's all about hyperpop sensation Hutchi, everybody. Yeah, baby. We want to do more sets. So if anyone is reading this, we can play DJ nights, we can do club nights,
we're very versatile.
We can play with bands and stuff. Yeah. So I'd like to do more gigs.
Yeah. We want to be swimming in gigs, really. Yeah.
We've got a low setup. we're nice chaps. We will wash behind their ears.
Form in the telephone box, can't we? Really, with our setup, we can,
yeah.
So book us, listen to us, enjoy us, and book us.
Yeah, or just laugh at us. Or just come.
Or just laugh, yeah. So penny.
I love it. Cheers for your time, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure, man. It's been really great to see you. Now, thank you for doing this, man.